Why do I make stupid decisions? Or the trough attack. Based on what I know, and also just for me, my alertness seems to be modulated as follows. I do have the circadian alertness, which roughly goes down throughout the day. It is highest in the morning and lowest in the evening. This then represents the threshold upon which I would be falling asleep. So the timeline here would be 16 hours because the last hours are not on this graph, as my alertness would drop lower because I'm asleep. Modulated on top of this are the ultradian cycles, which are often described, but there seems to be not that much data on the internet on there. Huberman, for example, talks about these. Now, tricky question. When is it the easiest to attack my mind? Probably the lower in alertness I am. So attack points would be my ultradian lows, and the more in the day I am. In other words, the longer I am awake, the lower my circadian alertness is. Therefore, on an absolute level, the later ultradian lows offer a bigger flank to attack my mind. In simpler terms, but not necessarily simpler, but simplified, one could say if it's late in the day, or at least in my circadian day, and additionally I'm in an ultradian low, let's say I come back after a workout, and the whole thing lasted for about 2 hours, then I can kind of predict that I'm in a ultradian low. If now I open my phone just to track a few workout stats, for example, then other things on my phone have a higher probability, probably, to now be able to attack my mind. A few simplified examples. If I'm tired in both senses, ultradian and circadian, and in my case I seem to have a genetic predisposition for narcolepsy, as I have probably lower ultradian lows, or my alertness elevator, which in this case would be sleep, does not push me up that high. So I forgot how I began the previous sentence. Nonetheless, I continue. This then is how the attack happens graphically. I now am in an ultradian low. As I now am in this low, and I open up Netflix, I am exposed to a cake. I download Instagram. Then all of these mind traps. So the ultradian trough attack, I think, works like this. These things now attack here. If I'm in an ultradian low, if I now open up Instagram, if I am exposed to junk food in an ultradian low, at a circadian low, they kind of force me to stay in the ultradian low. So instead of kicking myself back up again because I do nothing for 10 minutes, I have to pay attention. And because I have to pay attention or I eat junk food, I am now stuck in this ultradian low. This I refer to in my own thinking as the limbo state derived from Inception. And what's now crucial is not only am I in the ultradian low, but the longer I stay in the ultradian low, the also lower I get circadianly, which makes it harder and harder to get out.